Here we are again. This is a Strong Body, Strong Mind podcast. I'm Jamie.
I'm Callum.
And today we are going to be talking about the hardest thing to do with the gym. And we're going to talk about all of our experiences and things that we see and also actionable steps as we have done. And we're also going to be talking about our question from last week about Leverkusen Bayern Munich, where it all went Pete Tong for Tuchel. And we're going to be talking about Klopp at the end as well. Jurgen Klopp, if you're asking. So yes, let's go wild and get straight in it then. So, hardest thing to do with the gym. Callum, I'm going to get you to start this one off because you suggested it first when we kind of
Yeah.
chucked
So
Chinese around.
for
So,
me,
kick it off, mate.
I think if you're new to the gym or returning to the gym, the hardest thing to do is actually get through the front door and get into the environment that you want to be in. And that can be for anxiety reasons, it can be mindset reasons, it can be you don't have a clue what you're doing. But yeah, actually getting through that barrier of getting through the front door into the gym is probably one of the hardest things that you will have to overcome in your fitness journey.
What have you had like a client who's first come to you or has like kind of inquired with you and that's kind of happened where they're thinking they've
Yeah,
struggled to get into the gym?
Yeah, so I've actually had a client who was that terrified of coming into the gym in the first place that they met me across the road in Starbucks for a consultation.
Really?
Yeah. And it was just due to a bad experience with a PT before, lack
Mm.
of confidence from what they were taught before, a new environment, and they were like, they actually asked for the first few sessions if I could meet them outside and walk them in.
Wow. It's crazy, isn't it, to think that that can happen, but it is quite common though, isn't it? Really?
It's really common. Like I was speaking to a lady yesterday at the gym, and she was like, "Oh, I was really nervous coming in today." And she was in for an induction just to see how the gym worked and that. But she was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
"Yeah, I'm literally like," she was like 65 and like terrified of actually coming
yeah,
in.
yeah,
And I'm like, "But you've done harder things in your life than walking to the gym before." But it's just a
yeah.
mindset. It's just something new for them.
Yeah, of course, isn't it? I do think sometimes like knowing what you're going to do as well, like having a bit, obviously when you're kind of going through an induction or like a consultation, it's probably slightly different because you're meeting someone for the first time
Yeah,
to when you've kind of never met in person potentially. And I can kind of understand like going for an interview in it essentially. It's quite if you're not done one before,
yeah,
you're not done one for a while, is quite like, oh, I don't know kind of what to expect. So I think kind of by setting out the stall of kind of what it is that they're going to be doing, how it's going to work, that might be something that could work. But like say for example, when you have or when I have or when with a client, you've they'll tend to go into the gym and say, oh, I don't like going to the gym because I don't know what I'm doing, or I find that I'm just drifting around certain exercises. Once there's a plan set and they kind of know exactly what they're doing, they tend to work quite well, essentially. So that's it's something to consider with that, isn't it? Really,
100%.
I can remember with one of my well, there's one story with a woman called Jenny. She brought her when I spoke to her on the phone. She was a teacher. She unfortunately had cancer, and she's well. I'll say so. She passed away recently, actually, which was real sad. She kind of battled over the years, but when she first came to me, like 5, 6, 7 years ago, she was proper like down on herself. But she brought her husband in just for that mental support. And I remember meeting him, then talking to him. Martin, I remember speaking to him, having a good conversation with him as well, good conversation with her, and it was like a big thing to kind of be able to do that and for her in particular to kind of build her confidence back. So it happens, doesn't it? It's mental, man. It's mental. But again, like I say, I think with any kind of journey, getting started is always the hardest thing, isn't it? Whether it's getting into
100%.
something else. So yeah, I like it. My one that I'm going to kind of talk about here is you've got a story about this guy. I can't wait to hear it. Is putting oh shit, putting gym equipment away or putting equipment away in general. Now, I was in the gym a couple of weeks back. Speaking to one of the guys who PTs in there, you got seen going around like putting equipment, and he was doing it in a huff, and like he's pulling like 20 kg plates off. So if you've been to a gym, you'll see like in like certain types of gyms, you'll have like the plates in the middle of a floor or an area where you've got barbells and things like that, and then you'll have 20 plates on the bottom, 15s, then like 10s, fives, and then smaller ones towards the top because it makes more sense. You don't want to be lifting the heavy ones towards the top. Well, on this particular day, we had it's like couple of 20s on top, a 5, a 2, another 20 on one side of it. And I look at him, and you should have seen him put it down, put him on the floor, put it back up. He was in a right mood. I said to him, mate, I feel for you. I do feel for you because that's disgusting to see, just from a point of view of like where it is. Oh mate, absolute killer.
Yeah, it's just one of them. I remember when I worked at Ballantyne, so this is a few years ago. This guy came in, and there must have been he must have been benching 160,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and he
yeah.
just left it there. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like you've had the ability to go and put it on, go and
Yeah,
take
yeah,
it
yeah.
off because the next person's going to come along. And one, again, it can bring into gym intimidation if you see 160
Yeah,
Ks like just sitting on a bench, and then you've got to go and deload it before you go and do anything.
yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, mate, that's brutal. The thing is, like, it's a lot of weight. It's a
It's
lot
a
of
lot
weight
of
to
weight.
move as well. Like, if it's not good, and leaving any weight on any barbell, it's not good to be fair. But like 20 on each side in comparison to what that would be, 320s and a 5, would it be? I think. Oh no, and a 10 on either side.
Yeah.
That's 8 plates you've got to move. And have you ever done that where you've moved God forbid, if you've been in a gym, this has ever happened to you, I'm just going to tell you now, this is what you need to do. But taking plates off one side and leaving all plates on the other side, it will flip. It will
Yeah.
flip and someone could potentially literally die. So if you're going to do that, just make sure you take even off each side. One plate on one side should be fine. You can get away with two, depending on the weight, but one plate on either side, take it off. You should be good to go. But oh god, mate.
Oh, it's like
especially
it's just
when it's a
something that's
deadlift.
so easy to do is just put your weights back. It's
Yeah,
not hard.
barbells on the floor, mate. When someone's deadlifted
Yeah.
and you're trying to take the plates off, there's nothing. I mean, it's hard anyway. Once you're on weight, I mean, there's a little trick, where you can literally just put like a 2.5 or 1.25 plate underneath
Yeah.
the
Slide it
closest,
off, away you go.
yeah, closest plate, to the end, to the inside of the bar. Roll it up it, and then slide the rest of the plates off, and then kind of take that one off, and then pick it up, slide it out, put it away. That's kind of easy way to kind of do that. But if it's not yours, you're still bitter.
100% you are. Yeah,
So if,
100%.
if there's anyone in here who doesn't put your gym equipment away, just put it away. Like, not only that, though, it makes life easier for other people, but you're more likely to be liked in the gym because people don't like people leaving.
No, they don't. It's a pet hate.
Oh God, love it. Put your equipment away, guys, please. Do it. Do
Yes.
it. This kind of links to the last one as well. So we've said kind of cleaning after yourself. So that's, I think with this one, it's more just a case of putting things away. I mean, through COVID times, well, you had to kind of clean everything. Not all gyms have anything there to kind of be able to do that with. If it is, I'll tend to kind of like spray things and give it a wipe, if it's available to do it. But at least kind of put it back the way it should look, or the way it looked before you kind of got there as well. Again, it links back to putting your equipment away, to be fair. So
Etiquette at the end of the end.
that's it. It's like we at the end of the day, your gym membership, and I think this is how it is termed, isn't it? To be fair, Carl, well, you might be correct me on this, but when you pay for gym equipment, you are literally renting pieces of equipment off when you use it. That's how it works, isn't it? That's
Pretty
how they
much.
word it.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's so it's like if you're renting a holiday home, you don't necessarily leave it in a tip because you get charged. Obviously, it's not the same in the gym, but it's the same concept. So if you go away and you don't want to get charged a cleaning fee or get charged for breaking a glass or anything, sometimes it can be a by accident that those things happen. But even still, like just
That would be a great way to get people to put their weights away. You're fined a fiver.
yeah, well, imagine that on camera. Well, to be fair, mate, gym I go to, it's got ring cameras everywhere, mate. Ring cameras. It's like everywhere, like you're doing a bench press, this camera just turns to look at you with a blue light coming on. Something like Terminator, mate, I'm telling you. But like they could do that. They definitely could do that. And when the blue light comes on as well, like it's that's when someone's watching. Or they could talk to you. Is that how ring works? I don't have a ring
Yeah,
doorbell, to be
yeah, that's
fair.
right. But
That's
yeah, it's a bit freaky, isn't it?
that's for it, mate. Honestly, like this camera just looking at me like that. Watching me, old dog's barking. I was watching it like me pressing halfway through putting me off. They dropped a weight on my face, but yeah. So that's kind of that's the first kind of three out of the way. Next one, and Cal, I don't know if you've kind of come across this as well, but sometimes you can't. in a busy gym, especially with January, February kind of gone. Don't know if they're as busy now, but in a busy gym, you're going to get this to a certain degree. But Space Invaders
Oh,
in a busy gym.
100%. I've got a great story about Space Invader
Come
and
on then,
why.
talk to us. I want a dream.
So I remember when I was doing my internship at uni, and
Yeah.
we were in the strength and conditioning zone of the gym, and there's one of the guys was one of the interns was squatting, I think 180, and failed. Obviously, dropped the weight behind him, but there's a boy standing right next to him, and he just cleaned him completely out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just wiped the boy's knees just went from under him. I was like, well, what do you expect? You're standing within literally a couple of inches of the guy who's potentially a way to fail a squat.
Oh, what happened to the lad who like got taken out?
Oh, smashed his nose and got told to get out of the gym.
Mate, that's bad.
It is, but but the coach had no sympathy for him whatsoever.
Yeah, well, that's. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's probably insurances that could kind of cover that too. But even still, it's
Yeah,
true though, isn't it? Like it can happen. Like I think that I know someone who kind of had a weight. I can't remember the story, but he had a weight dropped on his a weight's been chucked on the ground. He slipped him and hit him in the face. I broke his teeth to be fair, and he claimed against him because I think it was just like complete incompetence from
yeah, the
the
person.
equipment. The equipment. No, I think something broke off and hit him of the dumbbell. It should be dropped anyway,
No,
100%. But even still, all the equipment should be checked. Safety checks every X amount of weeks, whatever it is.
yeah,
Insurance will kind of stipulate that when they kind of sign a contract with that. But I can remember he told me like it was just complete incompetence by the person who did it, number one, because the way he kind of chucked it off was just inappropriate. And number two, the gym manager just not checking stuff and just the way they kind of approach it after that. But I think I've been in I've heard stories. I think we spoke about it in last week's podcast, like as well, where and one of my clients actually had five or six lads around one bench just chatting away whilst doing exercise, just rotating around. But they were taking up so much space in the
yeah.
gym. So like he was trying to just get a dumbbell just to get out of the way. And he found it hard to get through because all these lads and there's some people in there training as well on their own and stuff, but this group of lads just couldn't do anything as well. And like, what are you doing? Just it's awareness, isn't it?
It's just also so off-putting if there's a
Yeah.
group of lads conveniently structured around one bench. I'm like, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
go split into two groups of two and one group of three and get on with your workout. Rather
Yeah.
spending like 3.5 hours in a gym, being in out an hour, and then go and chat outside in your car.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think doing that with like three in a group's probably not bad to be fair, because you could probably put two exercises in there, one working,
Yeah.
either a rest or the other working, then you have a rest and you cycle it around that way. It's probably a good little timer to be fair. There's like loads of different finishes you can kind of do that way, using cardio equipment. But yeah, it's just frustrating. But I think and this is kind of a tip for those who kind of in a gym when it's kind of busy as well. Either using one piece of equipment, just literally do whatever your session is. There's plenty of exercise you could do that will kind of help you work towards your goal, whether it's upper body, lower body, with a dumbbell or a kettlebell. And another thing is as well at the same time is be savvy with even if you're using like a bigger piece of kit, how many of your exercises can you do in that one area without necessarily having to move or go to a piece of equipment? And I think that's a skill in itself to be able to kind of do that, especially like I said, one of my clients had to really do it, Carl. Like he come and tell me like several times that there's sometimes I can't do anything. So we literally had to revamp everything. Say, right, do this. If there's only one piece of equipment you can get, and literally do a full session with that. And
Yeah.
you have to do it sometimes. You have to
Yeah.
do it. So
100%. Yeah, but it's just one of them. It's just like it's another bugbear of mine. The people that spend half an hour between sets on a phone. It's like you've actually spent more time working your finger than you freaking have doing a workout.
I thought that was the second exercise in the set, mate. Like working the thumbs.
But I get it. Your rest period. But even if you need to stand up, get off the machine, let someone else on. Like don't
Yeah,
just sit there looking at your phone because it is so off-putting for someone.
yeah. It's true. It is true. And I think that comes back to what we were saying in last week's, weren't it, about kind of fear of asking. And
Yeah,
that's kind of one of the things like say, if you kind of on your phone, see someone on the phone, you still, I don't think they look angry. It's
no,
just probably like a resting bitch face, isn't it, really? You're down, heads down, you're kind of reading something, you're trying to concentrate, or you probably received a really shitty message. Imagine going up to someone who've just like been dumped over a message about something in the gym, and you go up saying, "Oh, mate, can I super you? Fuck off." I mean, I'm sure strange things will have happened. Like that's probably happened at some point, but
probably.
it's true. It's true, mate. Like I think one of the key things that people kind of struggle with on a day-to-day basis is kind of moving generally. And I think just being able to get up after a piece of equipment, just getting up after a set, just having a bit of a trot around where they are, or just standing up, generally speaking, will probably do them a lot better. Alternatively, if you're kind of building up on a really heavy weight, you're powerlifting or anything like that, and you're doing that 1 minute max or like your optimal kind of strength stuff, then it's you take the rest, to be fair. But generally speaking, getting up and moving's going to be a good thing for you.
Yeah, 100%.
And I like I say, I like the idea of people being able to share equipment, especially linking back to the last one when the gym is
It's
really
like
busy.
what what's his name? Um, we've both done the course for listed bar. What's his name?
Chris Burgess, or
No,
oh
the
no
other
no
one.
no, oh my God, what's his name? 55 times project.
Yes.
Oh, what's it?
But it's
Oh my God, I can't think of his name. I don't know his name. Go check this
but
out.
as he said, like do exercise fillers if you need to. Like if you want to do,
Yeah.
and it's a great way of actually making your workout a lot more smooth.
Greg Slater. Greg
That's the
Slater.
one.
Greg Slater. He's class, by
Yeah,
the way. If you don't check him
yeah,
out,
he is
check him out.
class.
No, yeah, yeah, it's fair enough, isn't it? Like, so an exercise filler could be anything from like a mobility exercise. So, like, say for example, you're doing, for argument's sake, like a split squat, but you struggle with your shoulders. For work or anything like that, it could be an exercise that focuses on mobility. It could be like something that strengthens, because again, it's not
Yeah,
really they don't really compete. No, it's a non-competing superset,
yeah,
and it could be the fact that you are it could be the fact that you want to superset anyway and just kind of focus on strength to get more work in a short period of time, like a per 90 type set, so 90 seconds in between. Things like that that always kind of help, doesn't it, Cal, to be fair?
yeah,
So
100%.
he's really good at kind of doing that. Learned a lot from his course. Learned a lot. But yeah. So next one, or potentially last one, unless you've got something else to add, Cal, is the exercise. It's hardest thing to see this in the gym, to be fair. And this is probably purely mine and Cal's pet hates and our opinions, and our opinions are our own, but I'm sure you have them as well. Um, People making exercises harder than they need to be. So one of the things I absolutely don't get, and I hope to God I don't do this, is dipping whilst doing a curl, or dipping whilst doing like an arm or shoulder exercise, like an isolation exercise. I don't get it. I don't get it. Oh, it's just like I cringe at it. Like you see it, like people just curl, and at the end of it, when it goes up, it's like a dip. Start to get that extra little range. It's almost like, but you're not. You're just falling into it. No,
Yeah,
can't. What do
or
you believe
for me,
it?
the one that I get is when people just overload a bench far too much and then do like a quarter rep, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what is that? Oh,
I
I've
mean, to
managed
be
a
fair,
PB. No, 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 it's not. No,
yeah.
it's nowhere
Yeah.
near
I
a
mean,
PB.
you believe it. You believe that they were trying to do like a quarter rep if they put like a block on the chest.
Yeah, but it's like we had a young lad in today, and did a bench, hit bottom, paused it on the chest, and then his arse just flew off the bench straight away. And he's like celebrating it like a win.
Oh,
I'm
to
like,
lift it up.
that is not that doesn't count, mate. Like you've just literally an airplane could have flown underneath your backside. That doesn't, but then everyone like his mates were like, "Oh, well done!" And then this boy walks over, great rep. I was like, "That's not a great rep. That's so bad form and so bad technique, and you're going to injure yourself if you keep doing that."
Yeah, it's one of them, isn't it, mate? There's a time and a place to like literally go all out on something, but it's very rare. It's
Yeah,
very rare. And if you're getting older, it's just the juice ain't worth the squeeze, is it, to be honest.
and like I'm like, you're not competing. Why are you going for a 1RM? Like,
Yeah.
what's the point?
And
Like,
why
there's
you
no.
bounce and why you bouncing it off your chest as well, like literally wrapping yourself around the chair. Actually, did you ever work with Stephen Box?
I haven't. I know who he is though.
Yeah, yeah, I've not worked with him per se, but he did when B10 used to do the. I think they only did one to be honest with you. They did like an in-person day, so they did a day of like practical. I say practical like a PE lesson, like practical. So he did like kind of how to squat with Rich Senewald, which was class by the way. So he was doing the Litvinov method, that kind of work. Um, Stephen Box with like how to kind of get a bigger bench because I think at the time he had like a mean bench for the size of him.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what the other one was. Anyway, so what he used to say was, this is completely like not related to what we're talking about, but he'd pull it down and he'd let it lean on his chest, but he'd wrap his body around it and then kind of spring it up into the air. Can you remember? I've never heard of it. I've never seen it since. And I was really shit at it, mate. I couldn't do it.
No, the three I've trained with Brett Gibbs, Lane Norton, and the Team 3DMJ, and none of them have ever said that in their lives.
No, well, they're like, well, they all do kind of powerlifting, do
Yeah,
all
they're all
sorts of, to be
powerlifters
fair.
and bodybuilders. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. So
it's just random.
this is one Cal actually as well. This is what it's not necessarily a pet hit, it's more of an observation to be fair. Or like they're making it like an exercise harder. Now I'm all for getting pumped up for an exercise. You know, you must know where I'm going with this.
Oh yeah.
Now you've mentioned his name. All for getting pumped up for an exercise. And I have done when I powerlifted, when I was competing, but like running around the gym, screaming, running up to your weight, whether it's a squat, whether it's a deadlift, whether it's a bench, get all excited and then just lifting it. And Lane Norton does it, doesn't
He does,
he?
but he uses it very well for him.
he,
It
he
works
does.
for him. It doesn't. Would never look good in pure gym. Let's be honest.
Yeah. I'm sure he's done it in like a commercial gym once. And it's like
Oh,
for
100%.
people in there like doing a half curls or whatever it is, like look and think, what the fuck is this guy doing? But like, look, I'm all for getting pumped up. It's just like it's just funny, isn't it?
But
It's
what I
like,
love about that is that he gets pumped up, but like you'll never hear him groan. Like he won't groan through a set.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
that's a pet hate of mine. I detest people groaning.
Yeah, it's
It's just so off-putting, especially for females. Like I don't think guys understand that at all. It's like it's like walking into a fucking sex shop.
just have experience like Cal, yeah.
No, but you know what I mean. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
it's off-putting for me as a bloke, so I can't imagine how bad it is for a female.
Yeah, it's there's certain times where like you might like be pushing like towards failing. You might make a couple of noises here and there, but I know what you're saying, mate. Like
We've got a
the
guy in our gym right now,
proper
and
grunting.
honestly, it's every single rep is like, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, rep one surely is not that challenging, mate. It's
Ooh,
like, but I'm like,
ooh,
just stop,
ooh.
just breathe. Like, that's it. Breathe
Yeah,
normally, you'll
yeah,
be
yeah.
fine.
There's one time, Carl. I agree. I do agree, mate. Like there's no point. Ooh, ooh, ooh. It's that mate, sure. It's really annoying. It's really frustrating. But there's times where when I was like starting swinging and I'd be like try to hold my breath. And I remember my old pal like once she said to me, just breathe. What's wrong with you? And I just couldn't breathe. I just didn't want to breathe. Like and I just be like like just swinging away. She's
But
like, gee, is that
what I found is like when you brace for like a big lift, so like squat, deadlift, you can't do
yeah.
it because if you make a grunt, you completely fucking fail the lift.
Yeah, that's an interesting one, isn't it? Like in terms of bracing and kind of breathing and you kind of create the Valsalva maneuver they
Yeah,
call it, don't they? Like where you basically trying to push everything out and basically give yourself a heart attack. No one wants to do that, by the way, if you've got heart problems. Um, but like you'd only ever do that realistically if you're doing like a maximal
yeah.
type lift. And you'll have I'm trying to think who trying to think of the guy who used to hold his breath. You can do it where it might have been I can't pronounce his second name. Alex Gibler. Alex G from Lift the Bar, the
I know
rating
who.
king,
Yeah, I know who you're on about.
the rating king on Insta. I can't think Giblero or something like that. That's no disrespect to him, I can't pronounce it. But I'm sure, I don't know, I've got him in mind of it. But what he did was hold his breath on like an AMRAP,
Yeah.
Mike Zordos. I can't remember. Anyway, hold his breath on like an AMRAP basically, where you're literally going absolutely all out, and then you need to take your breath, then you kind of rest on your breath essentially. And then
Okay.
well you breathe on that as well, and that's kind of creating that Valsalva maneuver. Um, but again, like there's probably you could do that, but again, it's probably not necessarily beneficial for everyone, especially if you're kind of not comfortable with lifting, focus on the technique first. But yeah, grunting in the gym, it's not nice. It's not big and it's not clever.
It's not.
It's not at all. Is there anything else you think there's the hardest thing to do with the gym count?
I
Anything
think
like
people
that?
overcomplicate it at the gym very much, and it's like one of my other pet hates is when you see someone do a fucking lunge with a bicep curl. I'm like, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
that's two movements that are completely different. And one, you can load a lunge a hell of a lot heavier than you can load a bicep curl. So, what is your point?
Yeah, you see a lot of. I think that's from like lockdown days, isn't it? Where you're,
Yeah.
well, or even like your Gillian Michaels, or like if anyone used to watch on Sky Sports 3 back in the day when it used to exist, the Aussie aerobics. Yeah, no, okay,
Yes.
so
I
did you watch
remember.
it?
I didn't watch it,
Yeah,
but I know what you're on about.
yeah, no, never did I, but it would be on. I mean, I watched it for 20 minutes, but whatever. But like, but like they would do like random movements and combined moves. But I think lockdown, you know, a lot of like kind of trainers that would do like pre-recorded and kind of Zoom type session. Well, probably know
Yeah.
what they did, to be fair. But where they do like lunge and a curl. Now, there's probably a few movements that work well, but
Yeah.
I personally, and I'm sure you'll agree with this, don't think that majority of people should be doing it, because doing one movement alone is a skill in itself.
Yeah.
And if you're strong at that, and then you're able to coordinate whilst adding another movement in there, it could work. But yeah,
I
curling
think
a lot.
one of the only exceptions I like to see it with is probably kettlebell training. So if you're doing like a
Yeah,
squat thrust with a kettlebell, that's a move in itself. Whereas so is a shoulder
yeah,
press. It's
yeah.
not.
That's fair.
It's a different move you're doing, but you could see the combination of the moves put together.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, look, I've said it in kind of my content in terms of getting people to not combine movements together, but I think for like a complex or like a combination
Yeah,
movement, for like a finisher in particular, or even if it's just like a session where you don't have a lot of time, it can work. Like kettlebells works quite well because it flows a lot better.
yeah,
And I think you're probably better getting proficient with the movement line. But yeah, it kind of does work. But I agree, mate. I agree. I think there's focus on one movement at a time. As research suggests that you're going to increase more
yeah.
strength that way as well by doing that rather than combining movements. You're not saving time. You're kind of wasting time. The time which you do have, you're just
To
not
your
using
full
it
potential.
kind of effectively.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's standing the thing. But that's a that's a good one, that mate. So if anyone combines movement, just do a lunge and then do a curl after maybe. Or if you want to not competing, do a
yeah.
curl and a tricep exercise,
Superset.
because at least exactly, mate. Not a curl, sorry, lunge and a tricep. Yeah, but yeah, that's what we do. Um, yeah. Anything else, mate? Anything else?
No, I think I'm good so far.
Cool. So all right. So last week we spoke about what score it would be between Leverkusen and Bayern Munich. Cal, you guessed 3-1, was it?
I think it's 3-1. Yeah,
I guess 2-1. And although we were both right with the score, we were both, well, you were actually close, to be fair, weren't you? All you
yeah.
needed, mate, was Harry Kane to pop up with a header. He didn't have a touch on, did he?
Nope. He was rather bossed out of the game.
Did he have a bad game, or was it just one of
No,
those
Bayern
games
Munich
where,
just didn't have a clue how to play against them. Like
yeah,
Leverkusen were just awesome.
yeah. Well, there you go. So we got that wrong. Anyway, whatever. Kind of, well, right, but wrong. Right, we'll say we got it right then. Sorry. So today's question. So we kind of, because Carl is a big Liverpool fan.
I am.
the question is Klopp, I can't say the last bit, I'm not going to put it in there. Is Klopp going to get his fairy tale ending at Liverpool? So that could be what we're going for, Calvin. So we're going for like quadruple, or going for just a league, or going for because you've
I
got
like
the EFL Cup,
he's
haven't
in
you?
four competitions, and I'm realistic and say we're not going to win all four.
So two then. Should we say at least two?
Nah, I think we'll win on Saturday, so that'll be no. We're not even playing Saturday, so it's a heap of crap come. We're playing Sunday.
Right,
Um,
okay.
we've got Chelsea on Sunday in the Carabao Cup. I reckon we'll win that.
I think you should win that, yeah.
I think we should be favourites for the Europa League. Realistically, the only team that are potential hazard is Leverkusen.
Are they? All right, okay. Oh, they're
They're
in the
in
Champions
Europa
League
League
to be
as
fair.
well. Um, League, we're in pole position, but anything can happen. Man City could go on go undefeated for the season, and if they do that, they win the league. So I think that's a. I would like us to win the league, but it's a hard one. And the FA Cup, well, it's what we'll just see with the draw, realistically. But I would say 2 out of 4 would be good. Anything more than that, brilliant.
So that's a fairy tale ending then.
Yeah, of course it is.
Or is he going to perish? Like, what's he called actually? What was we'll go Harry Potter here. Um, what was he called?
Voldemort.
Not Voldemort. No, the teacher didn't like him, but it turns
It's
out it was his
Snake.
Snape. It was
Yeah,
his Professor Snape. Snape, was it Snape? Yeah, Professor Snape. Or he's going to go out and perish like Professor Snape, even though we all liked him in the end.
I
And we
don't
not
think.
did we expect that, by the way? Was it expected?
I don't know.
I
You're a
don't know.
Harry
I'm
Potter
not a
fan.
big
I'm
fan of.
not.
I'm not a Harry Potter fan at all, mate.
Why
I
did
was
you
just
use
trying to
that
think.
then?
I was trying to think of someone who died. We ended up liking, but didn't think he was going to die.
There's not that
And that's
many
the only
people in
reason.
films that do that.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Well, we kind of said another film. I'm not going to say it, to be fair.
We did.
It's 'cause it's based on a true story. It's like really bad. But yeah, okay. So you think he will get his fairy tale ending? Am I
I think
correct
he
in
will.
Okay. Do you know what, mate? I think he will actually. I'm going to say no, but
You're going to be
uh,
controversial, weren't you?
yeah, I fancy City. I do fancy City, but City have been like they've not been the
The
best,
problem City have is they're not firing on all cylinders,
but they're still
and
winning.
yeah, they're still winning. But so are Liverpool. Like Liverpool last night were absolutely dog shit in the first half. Came back and won 4-1
But City
with
can do that though, can't they?
a team that had no Allison, no Trent, no Conte, Konate, sorry, no Szoboszlai, no Darwin Nunez, and no Mo Salah.
He's running down the wing. Sa la la
So
la.
it's like, yeah, we're still winning with a weakened team
Yeah,
and a much more weakened team than Man City.
yeah, fair enough. I don't think man. I think Arsenal could be the one. I'm gonna go no. I don't think we'll get fairy tale ending. Sorry, I'm gonna be controversial. I think you win the Carabao Cup. Yeah, I think you'll get to the final of the. I think you'll win the Europa League. I don't think you win the Premier League.
I think we've got a better chance of winning the league than the Europa League at the moment.
No, 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 no. I think you'll win it. I think you'll beat Leverkusen, and that's going to be
What,
that's going to
the
be
signing off of one manager into another.
exactly, mate. He's thinking right. He's the masters. The master's kind of been the master, and now the teacher needs to go whatever. The student's got to go in and kind of take over now. Or it could be the other way around. The teacher becomes a master, or the learner, whatever it is. Student becomes a master.
It'll be an
Yeah,
interesting last few months, we'll see.
it will be. It will
But
be.
one thing
Cool.
we know is it's going to be a lot better than Blackburn's story this year.
Oh, mate, whatever. We get relegated to League One. That's fine. We'll be competing for stuff anyway next season. They're not.
What,
Next
relegation
season.
again?
Why be that way, Cal? I don't mock Liverpool. I don't mock
You
Aberdeen.
can't mock them because they're
I can
doing
mock
really well.
Aberdeen. I can mock Aberdeen, mate, if I wanted to.
Could you name one player that plays for Aberdeen?
Yeah, Murdoch.
Well done.
Is there a Murdoch?
No, there's not a Murdoch.
I had no idea, mate. To me. There was a Murdoch at one point, no? No? Don't know, mate. Trying to think. No, I can't. I can't.
No,
Yeah, no. Rangers are top of the league as well, mate. We had
I
it.
know.
Anyway, so but we'll get his fairy tale ending from you. He won't from me, and that is all from us today on Strong Body, Strong Mind podcast. I am Jamie,
I am Callum.
and we will see you lot next week, you beautiful people.